And the phone says we are live.
Yep.
So good evening, guys. I am Mike Geary, the founder and managing director of Hellfish Haven. I'm here with Travis, Oscar Mike Radio, United States Marine Corps veteran. We'll hold it against him. And Army veteran myself. And tonight we've got a guest from one of the larger states in America. And he's a nonprofit founder and CEO himself. Of the nonprofit. Whoop, you got me playing in the background. Watch myself, trying to get the views up. But we got Justin with us tonight, and he's a Project Heroes First organization. Myself and Justin got connected 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and I helped him, with a lot of the bylaw writing and the tedious stuff that happens when you create a nonprofit, and it really does, you just feel like you're doing paperwork for days and days. So I had talked to one of my buddies, Corey, and he had mentioned that his friend was starting a veterans nonprofit, and I said I just went through the whole process myself of having to write all this stuff. So I figured if I had the opportunity to, that I would share what I had instead of, like I said, always about, sharing knowledge instead of holding it as collateral. Like I'd rather, give it away to people and let them use it and help vets where they are. So Justin, would you like to touch base on what, the project is and, how you guys are doing so far?
Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really do appreciate it. So, my name is Justin Torres, like Mike said. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas, Central Texas, New Braunfels, Seguin, Cibolo, Shirts, San Antonio, Bernie, all that fun stuff. Project Heroes First is sort of a one-of-a-kind type of nonprofit. So, as you know, veterans go through a lot of injuries, a lot of life-changing injuries, whether it's crushed disc or bilateral amputees, or just people just have mental health issues or problems, and they just can't do global gyms or big gyms. So mine is more of a one-on-one focus between me and that individual if they want to get back in shape or get moving. Like, we go over their injuries, we go over what they need, what their goals are, and it's more interpersonal. It's not just a business deal. It's an actual, like, hey, like, I want you to get better. Back in the uniform, we were in our prime, we were hungry for it. And as soon as we get out, we lose that purpose, we lose that hunger, and we just don't know how to adjust to the civilian life.
Sure.
So I used to work for the VA as a student worker. So I tried my best to understand the ins and outs of our benefits, whether it's, medical, educational, and just benefits that, certain states and cities and counties offer us. So I try to absorb as much as I can so I can be a one-stop shop. So, the best times, even though people want to disagree sometimes, we all had together was PT, the motivation, the joking around, you pushing yourself to be better, like on the 15-mile ruck or the PT test where you have to sprint the last quarter mile to get done. And that's the type of thing I want to bring back, but more in an adaptive way. So we cater to your injuries. We have one-on-one focus of what you're going over. We're going to have a body scan, see what you're eating, how you're sleeping, because that's the biggest part, your water intake, pretty much everything all together. And then we're also going to focus on mental health. If you feel good and look good, you're going to think better about yourself. You're going to have that confidence again. You're going to look yourself in the mirror like, this is who I was before I got hurt, before I got out. And it's just realizing you have a new purpose. It's not going to be the same purpose, but it's a new purpose, and it's a better purpose for yourself.
Gotcha. So going like the whole health approach instead of just focusing on physical or just on mental, doing a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, because I know once it all comes together, it's helpful. Physical helps mental, mental helps physical, and then we have so many benefits out there that a lot of veterans are not aware of. So it's more of like, hey, like, did you know that you can go to school under this chapter of the VA education and they literally, take care of everything. Like you can get to your dream, you can start your own business. There's so many resources out there. And it feels like veterans are just lost in the dark when they transition or they just lose motivation.
I know Jeremy's checking in saying, so many chiefs lacking direction. And it's very true. You want to be independent. You want to, face things on your own, but it's tough with the system, and it can be very overwhelming. And like you said, even like the program, like vocational rehab, VRNE, you could do a self employment track. You could do a going to school track. You could go to starting a business. Like you could do an internship. Like there's so many different things you could do with that just one program. And
Hmm.
before, you used to have to take your GI Bill months and spend them on that program. And in the last year, they changed that, and now you can get those months back from the GI Bill. So now, if you use your GI Bill for Voc Rehab, you can simply call up your regional office, like for Massachusetts, it's up in Buffalo, and you just call up Buffalo and say, "Hey, I want my GI Bill months back," and they'll put them back
Hmm.
uh, into your folder, and you have that benefit back because they are two distinctly separate programs. Where
Yeah.
one's for vets, if your disabilities, I want to say 30% for
Yeah,
VRE.
30% and up, and like the higher you go, the more you're assisted with. So I started this and wanted to see where it goes. I have high hopes, expectations, goals, long term and short term. And at the end of the day, like I want veterans to know exactly how they can be helped, how they can succeed outside of the uniform. Because like you lose everything overnight. Like you lose the brotherhood, the family, you lose the purpose, you lose the drive. You like we're pushed to that level where, hey, you're here for this amazing reason, and then once you leave it's like, okay, you're cut out from that amazing reason, and I tell people you feel abandoned, like you're not who you are, but you could be better, you can do more. It's just a different road that leads to the same objective.
Yeah, and
So
did you find that your transition was like that? Like when you
Actually, my
left?
transition was rough. I left out of Fort Campbell, and when I transitioned I didn't know anything at all. Like I know all the senior enlisted and the officers were assisted, but the junior enlisted, we didn't know what was going on. They told us how to do a resume and where to look for jobs, but I wasn't aware of any of the benefits at all.
so how did you come to start your your outreach to Project Heroes First? Was it just dealing with the VA and other veterans, or was it your own story? Where did that genesis come from?
So Project Heroes First, like we military is high prone to athletic injuries for what we do. A lot of people may not agree with it unless they've been a part of that life. Um, the I've lost quite a few friends to suicide. Actually, a huge handful of them. And the only time I've ever seen them truly happy and laughing is when we would all work out together, and we would always have to change how we worked out because some had different injuries than others. Some couldn't do what others would did, so we would adapt to it. We would modify what's going on, and that brought us closer together.
It's
I
hard.
gotta,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
I just gotta grab Jose some water. I will be right back.
All right. So, as you're going through this, you're seeing veterans hurt, and the thing is, I can actually speak to this. 2.5 years ago, I ruptured my quadricep tendon, and my ortho was like, "Hey, did you ever injure that leg in your lifetime?" I said, "Yeah, that's why I got booted out of the Marine Corps." He's like, "Well, it decided to fail, and it has been brutal trying to get back to where I was before I got hurt. It's been a long road. I mean, I could just recovered, right, and gone on with life, but to try to get back to where you were, physically it's hard, sure, but man, mentally there's an aspect too. And I'm just curious, that has to be part of your outreach, because looking on your website, I'm like, I have my problems, but there's guys doing amazing things with some really catastrophic things going on. I mean, what's that like for you?
So it's actually very inspiring.
Yeah.
If you ever go on the website, the very first picture you see is actually a Marine veteran. His name is Mike. He's, bilateral leg amputee. And he's like the biggest inspiration because he's overcome so much and now he's just killing it out there. He's heavy into CrossFit and powerlifting. He's actually competing this weekend at the W.A.R Games, which is an adaptive CrossFit competition. He's a very humble guy, even though everything he went through. And like I've met so many people being a part or trying to include myself into that kind of atmosphere and family. And it's just like, wow, like I have some injuries, but there's people that have it worse than me and they're still kicking, they're still moving. Okay, so how can I give them this platform to where, okay, there's more veterans out there. There will always be, especially in San Antonio, military city, well, Audie Murphy. There's more veterans. How do we not know Vietnam veterans don't want to do the same thing Mike is doing? How do we know Iraq veterans don't want to do the same thing? Or Afghan veterans, or just those who
Sure.
just
Sure.
that got injured and never deployed, or just regular simple Joe that got out after 4 years but got injured. So Project Heroes First, there's people on my team that are licensed physical therapists, occupational therapists that have, generously volunteered their time. So like when you mentioned about your quad, like you have to rebuild that muscle. Once it's ripped or something changed drastically, you have to rebuild it with certain movements and certain tempo. Not everyone does that. Not everyone knows that. Especially in the military, we have that ego. Hey, I'm just gonna, squat 400 pounds and I haven't squatted in a while. I just came off an injury. Okay, you're just prone for another injury. So why not do, certain movements to rebuild it? Why not you do, certain yoga techniques to rebuild it? And that's what Project Heroes First is all about. It's a more one-on-one, interpersonal, like we're going to rebuild you, but we're going to rebuild you the right way. So this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, for me, I did my physical therapy, pretty hard. Had to. I did rebuild the muscle. Did rebuild the area around it. It was just it's something else. But I've gained weight. We're trying to lose that right now. My left leg, from compensating for my right leg, has problems. Not insurmountable problems, but it's definitely different. So you're doing this, and it's really amazing. It seems like you've gotten PTs, OTPs, and other medical professionals to join in your outreach. How did you do that? Because generally a lot of them won't.
So the best thing is my girlfriend Emily Skipper. She's a physical therapist and she's been my rock. She's been pushing me towards it. Anytime I have a question, she educates me on physical therapy because I have injuries that are similar to other veterans, and I go in there ego lifting, which is not the case. And she's like, "Hey, you need to do this for a week, and then try it again the following." So
Hey,
when I did that, I like came back strong. I was like, "Oh wow!" She's like, "Yeah, I told you so."
hey, Justin, is her favorite number 15?
Say that one more time.
Is her favorite number 15?
No, it's number 11.
Oh, really? Because my
Yeah.
PT was like 15 of this, 15 of that. You know, you're gonna do this, side straddle hop, thing 15 times.
Oh no, she would tell me she would change it up quite a few times. She's been like the biggest support of this. She sees my passion behind it, but I also know that I'm not educated enough to tell veterans, "Hey, this is what we need to do." And I don't want to be that person who leads veterans down astray. I feel like they've been led down astray for quite some time, or more than half their lives. Why would I want to add on just to push them back? Like my job is to help you because I know exactly how it feels not to be helped.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand what it's like getting hurt like that, and having to deal with not being 100%. How long have you been doing this outreach?
So actually, we're brand new. We're about maybe 2 months. But yeah, before that, I was trying to educate myself. I volunteered with Morgan's Wonderland, and they're doing an inclusive adaptive training similar to mine, but theirs is open up to everyone with any type of disability struggle. anything at all to get them functional and moving. And then mine is more focused on veterans, to rebuild veterans, to, if they want to compete, they have the chance to compete. Like the model I didn't create, I kind of just combined two models I've seen from other areas. Like the biggest one is Oscar Mike up in Chicago.
Yep.
Shout out to Noah and his team. Like they're building an adaptive facility for veterans. Like that's amazing. You don't have that here in San Antonio.
Now, Justin, what was your MOS?
So I was not a combat arms. I know Mr. Daniels was asking me that. I was actually support. I was an operations specialist. My number one guy I looked up to, he was field artillery. So he kind of like raised us similar to that, not as hardcore. I'm not going to claim like I'm so, amazing and badass like everyone else. I'll never do that. Uh, he taught me a lot. He taught me that drive, that hunger, the loyalty, the wisdom he passed down. Shout out to Sergeant Brown. He taught me everything. He's like my biggest motivator for this. The things he would do, he's gone through so many injuries on his deployment from field artillery, and he always did what we did. No matter the pain, he was always there.
That's what you like to see, a leader that is involved and not just being like, yeah, you guys go do that. I'm gonna be back here at the barracks.
He was always there with us. We were, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. It gets hot or it gets really cold during the winter, and he was always out there. He was a senior NCO. Wherever he went, we went, and vice versa. Pouring down rain, he was out there helping us. He was our leader, and he always led from the front.
2 months is just a blink of an eye, but it seems like you have a really good support around you. The year's winding down. What do you look to do in 2024, Justin?
2024, mostly just expand, try and tell and show veterans, hey, we're here. Hey, you have the opportunity to be a part of it. You have the opportunity to be a part of a one-stop shop physical fitness by any means, however you want to do it. You want to do yoga, that's fine. If you want to come to what I like to call a teammate sensing session, and you want to talk about what's going on with you personally or stuff you're dealing with from deployment or just in general, like veterans like to hold it in unless they talk to another veteran. Civilians won't really understand what we're going through. They can't relate to it. And then like I've noticed like veterans will notice I'm a veteran just because of, I guess, how I walk or how I dress. And they'll come up to me and they'll start telling me their life story. And I'll engage with them because I know exactly, or not exactly, but similar to what they've been through, especially when it comes to the injuries and, the low morale of you have to deal with the stuff that goes on.
Gotcha. I guess
with Texas, you guys have like a really like good system like online, like to connect you guys between the state and the different cities. Like, are you guys doing any online outreach, or are you guys strictly physical presence right now?
So right now we're online outreach. I've been going mobile. There's times where I do online, like a veteran that I know that just became a part of the program will reach out to me, and then I'll reach out to someone that's more experienced. Like I'll be that bridge, and I'll get them what they need, whether it's excuse me, the education part. They ask stuff or about their benefits, or if they want to work out but they have to find a way. I will talk to one of the PTs, the OTs. I will send them videos from, actual sources, not just, YouTube of some influencer doing it. Like it'll be actual information, or I'll send them links to actual books on movement, mobility, what can help with pain. I know I'm not the best one with, dieting. We all like to splurge once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. And then just like be there for them.
One of the things that I've noticed about myself and other veterans who are banged up or just hurt is you get to a point where you're so used to living in discomfort and aches that the idea of trying to feel good again is just, why even bother? Do you ever find yourself in that mode, or is that just me and some people I know?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I used to be like that all the time. Like especially when it gets cold, my whole body aches. You know, my doctor says I have arthritis in so many places, but then like I just remember my friends that that have been through worse than me, and they're still going. And I'm like, okay, then how can I slack off when someone who's had it worse is pushing it harder than me, and I have more resources? So what's really my excuse?
Yeah, yeah. So it really is all about attitude.
It's about attitude and it's about who you surround yourself with. Like, my like I tell everyone, my friend Mike, who's competing right now, he's huge inspiration. Like you can just look on his stories of social media, what he's doing, and you're like, wow, this he's killing it. What's stopping me? Yeah, it hurts. It's going to hurt, but you can overcome that. You just have to look up what to do and how to eat how to eat properly.
Right. Well, diet is so key, right?
hmm Diet is a huge thing, and I tell everyone that I've educated myself a lot on dieting, and like the more unprocessed and unhealthy food that you're addicted to, like it kills your morale. There's so many chemicals in there, and it inflames your body and makes you lazy. You end up getting a lower stomach or a pouch. And I'm like, you can make it your own way where it tastes just as good, but it fuels you. And then when I lost, the post military weight, like I started feeling happy. I was happy all the time. Like I would catch myself waking up with a smile, and I was always full of energy. I was always happy. I always wanted to work out. I was motivated for school. I was motivated to interact with anyone.
Nice, nice. I just really like this aspect, Mike, where Justin's put together this thing where it's about action. We know there's a problem, we know there's issues, but you can take action with what you're doing, Justin. It's nice to see.
I appreciate that.
And it's good to like when like we first started talking about it, like Justin was like he knew what he wanted. It wasn't like I explained like the thing that I saw was troubling in veteran nonprofits was there's too many out there that are directionless, that don't have a specific mission, they don't have a specific goal, and are just out there to help veterans. And they're collecting money, and then there's no project that they're going towards. There's no goal that they have. So that's one of the things that I stressed, and that I saw that he had, established from the get go was, he had the goal and he had the end state, ready to go and what he was looking for. And, if anybody's out there, looking to start a nonprofit, like it is a big challenge, but, as long as you have that mission and you have that, set of where you want to go, because you don't want to turn off donors, and you don't want to turn off somebody else from donating to a different organization, because if you collect money and then nothing happens and you're not showing the people what they're getting from their donations, then you turn them off from donating to you or another veterans organization again. So we just want to make sure that we're taking care of our community, and and living up to the promises that we make.
Sure, sure. And you mentioned your girlfriend. I'm very curious about that because a lot of times, a veteran will start a nonprofit and it goes one of three ways. Either um, the spouse, husband or wife, wants nothing to do with it, or they just tolerate it. Like, okay, I'm going to go along and get along, or they roll up their sleeves and say, hey, you know what, this is my battle too. I'm going to come with you. What's it like having that support from your girlfriend to coach you along?
It's awesome. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of like I said, I'm not knowledgeable on the human body and certain words and how to fixate on it. Both her grandpas are Vietnam vets, uh, so there's knowledge there. And then she has this passion for helping people that are hurt as well. Like she's super big into helping athletes. She loves helping athletes. What she does in San Antonio, she focuses for recovery on athletes from universities, high schools, people that make it to semi-pro and pro. Like she's passionate about it, and she can see my passion behind helping veterans.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
buddy.
Well, the reason I mention that is a lot of times, civilians will ask me, hey, I want to help or be involved in your community, but I feel like I'm trespassing or something like that. And I'm like, well, if you didn't serve, you didn't serve. It doesn't mean you're not an American, and you can't, you can certainly take what you have and support us. And I think it's good for veterans to be open to that. And it's certainly nice to hear that, Justin. You got a good one there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I tell everyone, I know quite a few people that never served or don't have any connection to the military, and they see the passion when I speak about it. Like
Yeah,
it's personal for me. Like I've lost like I said before, I've lost friends, and the only time they were happy is when we all worked out together. Like that's the only time I would see them laugh so hard where we couldn't breathe or hear each other laugh because we were laughing so hard. And I feel like that's a huge thing, especially for male veterans, because our suicide rate is climbing every year.
yeah,
And like people talk about it, but I feel like people talk about it like it's a little secret or something, and that like it should be a national outcry of what's going on. And I always tell people, if you have no connection but you want to support, I assure you, veterans will be extremely thankful that you're actually caring for them, because a lot of veterans feel like no one cares for them, like they're alone in the world.
sure, sure.
And then the big thing too is like what I see in all these studies is that there's as men get older, some don't even have three friends to talk to. So
Mhm.
it's like it's so important to go out and get involved in these organizations and get involved with something physical and something that you can be a part of, to have that connection and have those outlets because you're just sitting at home all day and there's certain things you can talk to your significant other about versus when you need to vent and go and talk with your brothers and sisters in arms and just somebody that has been down the same road as you versus your significant other. So it's like it's good to have those outlets.
Mhm.
Did we get dropped?
No, no, no,
No,
no.
no, I'm still here. Yeah, we're still live.
I guess the last couple of questions I have is you don't
I'm
operate
gonna
as vet.
reset. Come back.
No, no, we're fine. We're fine.
Oh, I think he had a reset.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, we're live. Um, you just start off. You're a fledgling nonprofit, but is there any capacity or ability to work with your local VSO at the city, or county or state level in Texas?
So that's actually like what I do probably, 90% while the sun is up. I go to VFW, VSOs, American Legions. I try to reach out. I make friends with as many people as I can, many, bridges to be built. I always try to tell people, hey, don't take me on my word, take me on what I'm going to show you, because actions speak louder than words. And I'm not here to lie to anyone. I'm not here to con anyone. I'm not here to get anyone hopes up. I'm just here to do the best I can. And I'm always looking for feedback. I'm always looking for ideas. I'm not going to shut anyone down because everyone has different perspectives and angles that I probably didn't see because I have so much on my plate. So I always tell someone, I'll send, when the website was first made, I send it to about maybe 40 people asking for feedback. Like, oh, what would you like here? What would pop to you? What would you want to see us put out there? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to help veterans, but in order to help, like, for veterans to actually come seek help, I need their family to encourage them. So I always say, hey, like, if you want to work out with, your wife or husband, your partner, however,
And
on
support,
their
yeah.
journey, you're more than welcomed. Like, the more the better, the more support the better. So people know, especially veterans, you're not alone.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I certainly look forward to getting to know you better, Justin, and supporting what you do. I think it's really unique, Mike. There's this aspect of action, community, and openness that we could all learn from.
And then you were just talking about the website, and the only thing I can say that I didn't see when I was going on it a little bit earlier was like a little like bio about yourself. Like you gotta whether you write it or you have somebody write it for you. Like let them know who you are and what you're doing. Because you've got the leadership there on the page. Just throw a little quick little blurb, and that way people
Yeah.
understand who you guys are and that you guys are vets doing this, and you guys are the experience that you guys have. Because it really does mean a lot when somebody goes to a page and they see that that veterans are running an organization and that veterans are in the leadership positions. Because it's it, to me, like, that's one of the things that I see at an organization. I'm like, and it gets me more interested in working with them.
Okay. See, I appreciate that. I just didn't want to be that type of person who like boasts about myself on a page that's for others. You know what I mean? And like that's always been my big thing. Like people will say or try to say like, "Oh, like you're just boasting." I don't think I'm better than anyone at all in any capacity. I think I'm better than me, and that's all that really matters. And if I have to be the bridge to give people unlimited opportunities to better themselves, then that's my goal. That's my purpose in life, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, I've heard that before. You're not the first person to tell me that, and I told the person, I said, look, if somebody trying to run a nonprofit is trying to do it for boasting or attention, you're in the wrong. There are easier ways to get attention than to start, run, and manage a nonprofit day to day. So, don't worry about that. But to Mike's point, it's just a way for people to get to know you, put a name with a face. You don't have to be like, hey, I was part of, SEAL team, whatever, or, the captain's mate on the Eisenhower. You just got to say, hey, I served in my country. I did this. And now I'm doing what I'm doing now. Please join me. And it'll come across authentic.
Yeah, that's what I hope. That's my plan.
Sure.
Because it definitely does, like, a lot of these people that get them in trouble is, they want to go out there and be like, oh, I won the global war on terror myself, and, I was shooting people off bridges with my 9mm, and it's like, dude, like, you had people that were with you on that deployment. Like, we saw you every day. All you did was grab snacks from the chow hall. Like,
No,
like, you don't have to embellish. You still served. You did your job, there's no need to, come up with these crazy stories.
I mean, there's people that have been in like very simple support jobs that have been caught in a situation like that. Like deployment is unpredictable, no matter what job you are. You can be a cook. Before you know it, you're defending, the defect from people. Like that's why I always tell people, like, if you have a story and you believe that story is true, that's good for you, man. Like I don't care. At the end of the day, there's someone better than us. There's someone that's done more than us. So like a lot of people always ask me like, "Oh, why don't you have military stickers on your car?" Why? Why do I need military stickers on my car to show that I was a veteran? Like I don't need to tell people like, "Oh, I'm a veteran, come worship me." That's not the case. I always say, "Hey, like there's veterans that are hurting and they need help. We need to pay attention to this."
See, us Marines just can't do that, Justin. And we're just.
Oh, I know.
You have to have at least 3 EGAs in your car at all times.
Yeah, one of my good friends, he's a Marine right now, and he has the your guys' logo on his entire back, and I'm like, I'm glad we all know that you're a Marine. Thank you.
That's pretty motivating right there,
Oh yeah, he's the most humble, stoic person I ever met. He's always a joy to be around. He's always happy to talk to you. He's a Marine. I think he's a gunny right now. He just got promoted. Shout out to my boy Gio. Yeah, he's awesome.
Fantastic.
And then we were talking about chow halls for a second. When I was in Iraq in 2004, 2005, we got a soft serve ice cream machine in the chow hall. It was there for not 2 days, and a mortar round came in and took it out. And it was the saddest day on the fob. Like, everybody was like, so excited about the soft serve ice cream machine. This thing comes in, we have it for a day and a half, and literally the mortar round comes in, hits it, and they never replaced it. And it was just like, damn you.
Well, talk about psyops.
Well,
Mhm.
the funniest thing was, uh, I was in RC East JBAD, and we had a soft ice cream. And I remember telling my platoon sergeant Brown, I was like, "I want ice cream," and he's like, "You better not." He's like, "This is deployment where you get in shape because you're going to be looked at, to get promoted." So every time I'd walk to it, he would just magically appear like Batman, and he was like out of nowhere, like I would feel someone staring at me, and I would go around, and he's just like this. And like, so imagine having ice cream and you not touching it for 6 to 7 months. I was just like, man, I really wanted ice cream the whole time.
So people don't understand how big Texas actually is up here. The reason I say that, Justin, is I joined the Marine Corps out of Shreveport, Louisiana. So I spent a lot of time in Texas. I understand that you can drive literally 1,100 miles from east to west with miles left over, right?
Mhm.
But people don't understand that Dallas, Houston, San Antonio are three very different places. What's San Antonio like compared to like a Houston or a Dallas?
I tell everyone, Dallas and Houston are just, I don't know. To me, when I moved to San Antonio, like I've seen more veterans walk around than I've seen civilians most of the time. Like it's when they say it's military city, it's military city. I think we have the most bases in just this city alone. So when I went to Dallas, it's like, I don't know, it felt like I was on leave and there was nothing but civilians around me.
Okay.
I've never been to Houston, so I can't really say much about Houston. But Dallas is like, oh, I'm on leave. I can pretend to be a civilian. When I get to San Antonio, it's like, okay, it's nothing but veterans. Like I know, certain jokes and, certain way to talk to other, brothers and sisters in arms. So I don't know. It's a different feeling. When they say military city, that's exactly how it feels like all the time.
Well, what about the stupid mofo who, peed on the Alamo a couple of years ago? I mean, I still remember that. I'm like, is he
Yeah.
trying to go to get hurt? I'm surprised he got out of town alive.
There's just San Antonio is a very interesting place.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's funny that what he did to the Alamo, but it just reminds me of the military because of how just free and transparent we are. We'll do the most the wildest things, the most audacious things, and civilians will look at us like, "What are you doing?" And then to us is like another Tuesday, like, "Oh yeah, we do this all the time."
Yeah. Well, I've got my show coming up at 8. Mike, do you have anything? I'm going to have to drop here in a minute, but Mike, do you have anything else you want to ask
I'm
Justin?
I'm throwing in your Facebook, your Instagram, and what else you got out there for ways for folks to interact with you guys.
Instagram, Facebook, and just the website for now. Everything's slowly, surely coming along. I'm not trying to have any missteps or, bite off too much more than I can chew, and it sets me back months. So, like, the people that are on my team are, they've all been in the military longer than me. They all outrank me. They all have the knowledge. So they keep me on the right track because with me, being the face of a nonprofit like this, like you can get overwhelmed. You can go so many different ways and then just lose sight of the baby steps. So
Definitely, the best thing I can tell you is don't worry about your numbers and quote unquote success. Like each veteran that you help is a success, and
oh yeah.
just can continue to work with people, and word will get out there, and it'll come in time. It's not something that happens overnight, and you just keep working away at it, and make the difference in that one or two guys' lives at a time as you can.
I appreciate it. That's exactly what it is. Rome wasn't built in a day. And Rome's gonna stay tall and high for years to come. That's my goal.
Fantastic.
And then so we got Pearl Harbor Day coming up,
Yeah.
and we have got Barry. I do not have a new location yet. We are still on the tour. We are bouncing around from location to location, hosting game nights at Legions, VFWs, nonprofits, cannabis companies. We've got a lot of things set up for the new year that we'll be releasing come January with a new newsletter. Uh, we were in a building, in an office building, and it was really awkward. Like everybody else in the building was either medical or admin, and like we're there trying to have like game functions and like
Fun.
at a computer lab for guys, and like the whole complex was basically shut down at 5, and then there we are at like 8 o'clock, having guys, playing video games, and security's like, go home. And I was like, all right. So, but we're still actively looking for a new location for Elfish Haven to set up roots again. But right now we're just enjoying the fact that we can, pick up and set up in a place just over New Hampshire border. And we did Hollis, New Hampshire with Operation Dot the Dog, and like we're looking at Chelmsford, Lowell, do a few up there, and come back down North Attleboro, looking for a December one down there. And I know 22 Mohawks was looking to do something in Sharon, so we're looking forward to those. And Justin, thank you for jumping on tonight. Definitely appreciate you coming on short notice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll definitely have you back on as as you grow and you got more stuff. Feel free to share it with us, and we'll post it on our socials and boost you up.
All right,
And
I
then
appreciate it.
Travis, what's next for Oscar Mike?
Well, like I said, we got monster trucks and good stuff
Yeah.
tonight. Bryce, the warrior. Warrior Bryce on tonight. We got some Reese Across America radio stuff coming up in December, and just a fast 2024 start, man. And stories like this, seeing you in action, seeing what Michael does, really just drives it home that we're an amazing group of people, but we are really amazing when we work together and support each other. So, Justin, just thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
And thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We are WAR, we are resilient, and
we are WAR.
Yes.
And, we look forward to having another one of these. As long as you guys are willing to watch, we'll be willing to post.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Have a great night.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.